now. Let's check it on everyone else's. Yep, it's saying reconnection successful. I don't know what happened because I could hear you guys the entire time. I didn't lose interconnection or what, but it looks like we are back on live on YouTube.
Yes, we are back online.
All right, I apologize,
Sorry about
guys.
that.
Salt Lake City
Good old
has
technology.
the worst internet imaginable. I have the highest speed, and we have to deal with this on a weekly basis. So,
but they got an AAF team.
We appreciate you guys sticking around. For everybody that stuck around, for everybody that took off.
Come back.
Yeah, we're back.
They'll be back.
So get back.
They'll be back.
They'll be back. Hopefully they'll be back. All right, so what I was saying is the MVP metric is a collection of over 20 different individual statistics that are rolled into one. Now, obviously, the eye test is the most important metric, the most important thing in taking into consideration for an MVP. But we should have an analytical side, an analytical argument to the debate. At least it brings some value to the argument in that sense. So what it does, it takes into consideration the simple way to put it, it's player over team over league. So what it is it takes into consideration the percentage of influence on that team from the defensive influence and how well the defense is played to the surrounding talent to the percentage of yards that player contributed to his team, the percentage of points, and then those percentage of points and yards versus the league average of the top 20 or the top 32 of the quarterbacks. So it really takes into consideration how well the entire league is doing as a whole, how much offense is going into that year versus years prior. So you can actually weigh year-to-year average. You're weighing a year-to-year average basically and seeing, how much offense was how much offense happened in 2018 compared to 2017 and putting those on a level playing field, as well as comparing quarterback, running back, and wide receiver on the same level playing field so that they all have a fair chance of at least being heard. Obviously, a quarterback technically almost is always going to have more of an influence on his team than the wide receiver, especially if he's throwing to the wide receiver. But then again, we look at it, and when Patrick Mahomes was on fire earlier this season, Tyreek Hill was the number one wide receiver, but he was still far below half of the other quarterbacks that were on the top 5 or top 10. So it's hard to win as a wide receiver. No wide receiver has ever won it. There's only been a handful of running backs that have ever won it and only a few defensive players. So by this time next year, we should have defensive players on that metric as well. But we will most definitely be doing that for the AAF, and I think that is a great idea, guys.
And that's patented, folks, so you know it's good.
Yep.
So, got a question here from Chris Price in chat. Given how the draft's gone so far, this one being mostly for you here, Roy, I guess, because you've done the most studying and probably Feiner too. Who else do you guys think Birmingham should pick up? Anybody they should target?
Well, personally, I believe that they're a vertical passing offense, and Zach Mettenberger is still on the board. He fits that mold of a strong-bodied, big-bodied passer who can launch the ball downfield.
I'm going to disagree. I think they should take Steven Garcia, who was originally already allotted to their offense, because he does have the arm to push the ball down the field, but he's also athletic. I also think that they should take a look at my guy. I've been ranting about him all night, Tommy Armstrong. I think he has good footwork and a good arm that can push the ball down the field, plus the athleticism to break outside the pocket. So I think either one of them two guys they should definitely be taking a look at right now.
Yeah, I'm in on Garcia. I think the fact that no one's pulled him so far says something about how his interviews and just overall meetings have gone. I think that not enough people have seen enough progress from where he was last reported, so everyone's kind of, all right, this is a lost cause. We don't want any part of this.
Any news on a Pro Bowl for the AAF? Or are they going to have anything like that? All-Star game status?
East or West game? I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, Van Houten 64 brought that out, East versus West.
Currently, I do not know of any that's been discussed, but that's not saying it's not going to. I'm sure there's going to be some way to take merit into this, and we'll see. The first pick in the round 3 is Logan Woodside. He's a former Toledo quarterback. He also didn't get no roundup here, so he was taken by the Commanders.
Logan Woodside.
We didn't get him on any press releases, so we don't have him in any of our write-ups. The next pick goes to the Express. And they selected Brandon Silvers from Troy, one of the better quarterbacks in the draft. So definite interesting case there. He can break outside the pocket. He's good at delivering the ball at all three levels of the field.
So it's Logan Woodside says from Toledo, played for the Bengals and Titans.
Yeah, he was a late round pick, I believe, in this past draft. I personally was not very high on him. I did not like his film. He was an athletic with a weak arm, fluttered the ball, couldn't push it down, poor footwork. I know a lot of people in our staff, in our scouting department, were very high on Logan Woodside, however. So we'll see how he does in the AAF.
You just hit the nail on the head. He has a very weak arm. He can only hit short to intermediate routes. He cannot fit it in tight windows down the field, anywhere from like say 15, 18 yards down the field. He struggles to hit it consistently. So definitely,
there was the big thing. One of the most fundamental passes in any football atmosphere is the quick out and the deep out. And every time he threw the ball to the sideline, that ball fluttered and landed 2 feet in front of the receiver. It was just something I did not like.
So it's looking like the AAF is over with on CBS Sports, but there is a link on AAF.com for people looking. Austin Allen was also taken by the Salt Lake Stallions in the 3rd pick of the 3rd round.
Somebody in the chat says the official stream isn't loading for him on AAF, so maybe that's been overloaded. So everybody just come listen to us. We're much cooler anyway.
Right. Austin Allen is a quarterback from Arkansas. He can go through progressions. He doesn't have elite arm talent, but he is a good backup style quarterback. He can do progressions, like I said. He doesn't panic under pressure. He's a decent quarterback at this round to grab.
Absolutely. He was an undrafted player this past draft season. I did like his film. I thought that he had potential. He floated his way around in the preseason as an undrafted free agent as well as on the practice squad, but didn't stick to any roster.
Disruption seems like AAF and us are having the same issues.
Too much excitement, man. There's just too much excitement right now for what's going on.
Too much going on. Way too much going on.
Which is a good thing because that's getting exposure for the AAF and also Blitzalytics, so you want to check out for all your AAF content needs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So has anybody planned out a trip to the AAF? Obviously, Jack's got to go. It's in your backyard.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be going. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Where are you headed, Ashton? You going to Memphis?
Man, I'll go to San Antonio with the team they're building. I'm down. That's a 3-hour drive for me.
How about you, Roy?
That's quite a haul for me, but if it would be, I'd probably hit up the Memphis Express as well. I'd like to see that roster.
I'll tell you what, if you can make that happen, you let me know, and I'll meet you in Memphis, brother. We'll get that down.
I'll hold you to that. If I get an opportunity, I will meet you there.
Absolutely. I'm excited for the Memphis Express, man. I really am.
Yeah, I'm pretty close to the Apollo over in Orlando. Going to check out those nice jerseys.
Yeah, we got to get you and at Cody Talks NFL, Cody Manning. We got to get you guys on the field in Orlando. That's the goal. Yeah. You too, Jack.
Absolutely.
Oh, that'll definitely be the goal. That's not only the goal, that's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
So we will definitely be getting ourselves some press passes for the AAF and being one of, if not the goal, is to be their main media outlet. So we want to cover the AAF through and through from a scouting aspect to a media aspect and all the above. We want to be able to give you guys the good content that y'all deserve, not the clickbait stuff that you have to read from people that have no idea what they are even talking about when it comes to a football standpoint. That is one thing about Blitzalytics is you are going to get football knowledge from football-like-minded people.
Yeah, go ahead and click that like and subscribe button as well so you can stay up to date with us. If you click like and subscribe, your fantasy team will get a win this week.
The pick is in for the quarterback. The legend selected Peter Bourgeois from Holy Cross. He was a 46 46-time starter at Holy Cross. His average arm strength and his throwing motion reminds you somewhat of Phillip Rivers, but he does recognize coverage schemes pre-snaps and can audible out of them. But he throws with good accuracy and touch, giving his receivers a chance for yards after the catch. But he's going to need some refinement coming from such a small school in Holy Cross.
Do we have any news as to where the referees are coming from? So maybe we can start looking at call stats and everything.
No news that I'm aware of if they're college style or if they're actual NFL or CFL type of refs.
Yeah. I would assume that most are going to be coming from the collegiate level. However, I wouldn't be surprised if NFL referees would be coming into the AAF, either retired or former NFL referees, since the season will be over.
They need to just go ahead and make my man Ed Hockley head of refereeing. That's all I need.
Bring the guns back, Ed. Bring the guns back.
Amen to that.
I think the NFL sorely misses Ed Hockley on a side note.
His son needs to hit the weight room.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they are not the
putting
same
shame
man.
to the guns.
If his dad has guns, he owns water pistols.
Nerf gun.
Yeah, there was some controversial calls with Ed Hockley though.
There's one of my favorite quarterbacks that just went off the board to Orlando. That would be Austin Appleby, excuse me. Mm. And he has a big arm, good stature, can roll outside the pocket. He was a Purdue transfer, wound up at Florida for his senior year. He has great arm strength and throw a beautiful deep ball. He needs some work on his footwork, but he shows NFL caliber touch, and he can finesse a ball into a tight window. So he's gritty when he has to break outside the pocket and run, but he is clutch as well. So Austin Appleby, nice to see you on the Orlando, and it'll be interesting to see you in a Steve Spurrier offense.
Hey, Roy, what you think about Alex Torgerson? He was one that I remembered that I liked coming out. Just a good little ball player who was just seemed to be making plays. I was just curious on what you had on him. Do you think he'd be picked today?
It's a possibility. His rights were owned by Arizona. They called him the Norwegian Nightmare when he went to school in Penn. But he's at his best running outside the pocket, an RPO style offense. He can't really go through progressions. He doesn't get rid of the ball real quick, but he is confident in his ability, and I would not be surprised to see if he gets a chance to work through practice his way up to either be a good, solid backup or even a low-end starter.
Cool.
All right, let's dive into some of the questions that we had prior to this. So which quarterback stands out to you guys as the most who are you putting your money on to be the first quarterback back in the NFL?
I'd have to say Aaron Murray.
Yeah.
If you pin me to a wall, that would be the one I'd give first of all. But there's also some guys here that, even though they might not be the first, they might be the best quarterback that goes back to the NFL with a chance to succeed. Whether that be Mettenberger, if he gets selected by one of these teams in the last, third of this round, even the last round, and also Christian Hackenberg. Garrett Gilbert's a nice quarterback. There's a lot of guys that if they get an opportunity, even the guy who was just selected by the Apollos, Appleby, he just needs an opportunity to show, put some tape out there against some high-quality talent.
I'll
take
the alternative. Josh Johnson got a tryout last week with the Redskins, so he's pretty close already. So I'll go with
the age. It's just the age that's tough with that one.
Yeah, but he's been a reliable backup
Absolutely.
for his entire time. I mean, when he's had to step in, he's looked really good. I mean, for the Niners a couple years ago in preseason, he was playing lights out. So I could definitely see
Nathan Peterman
making back. Exactly. Yeah, I know how that goes. All right, which offensive coordinator are you most intrigued by?
Michael Vick.
Just interrupt you for a second. We had a selection by the Hot Shots. They selected Quinn McQuarrie from Montana Tech, a very small school, an NAIA school. He has good arm strength and athleticism in the open field to make people miss, so he can scramble a little bit. He can string together multiple moves, even showed a nice spin move on tape. He shows good accuracy and touch, both from inside the pocket and when asked to roll out. So he's an interesting wild card at the position. Sorry, guys.
No, well done.
How many quarterbacks do you see each team rostering? Are we talking 3, and then 10 of these guys are probably gone by the end of the preseason?
I only see 3. That's the one thing with a lot of these rosters that are coming out is I'm not sure what the actual roster size is, but when I was talking with Russ before, he stressed the point of there's a lot of numbers being signed. They just announced over 600 players that were signed to an AAF contract, but they still got to go through a training camp, and they got to make a cut to the team. So a lot of these guys that are still getting a chance might not be even on the roster when it comes week 1.
Is Mettenberger still on the board?
Yes, Mettenberger is still on the board.
So is he officially our Aaron Rodgers of this draft now?
Yes,
Absolutely.
he is. Scott Tolzien just went to the Birmingham Iron.
That's a good pick.
Very good pick for them. Especially having Blake Sims. Now you can definitely use Blake Sims as a gadget player, almost like that, with having Luis Perez, and Tolzien will be the perfect guy to have as a mentor for him with the NFL experience, the 7-year NFL experience, and the 4 career starts for him. And Tolzien has a nice skill set, even if Perez isn't ready right away, that he could come in, like it's been stated here multiple times, that he can use his functional mobility and intelligence and pre-snap ability to pass that on down to Luis Perez.
Dubinson, ask, should fans expect more exciting trickery plays and more of a less flashy old school football game? I think we have answered that earlier in the fact that you see which quarterbacks, the more athletic types, are being drafted earlier. So I think we're going to see a lot more trickery. We're going to see a lot more gadget plays, a lot more misdirection plays. The Andy Reid, Sean McVay, and even the Bill Belichick style offenses that we've seen, they're going to be more collegiate RPO style. It's going to be collegiate, but I think it even might be more collegiate than most collegiate. I think they're really going to try and do they're going to come up with plays that people have never seen before. And that's just me kind of spitballing, but just by the way that they've drafted these quarterbacks, I really think that this is going to be something that we are not used to in terms of fun style offense.
Lots more Philly specials.
I definitely agree, Jack. But the other thing it's interesting here, too, is I'll be really surprised if Mettenberger isn't taken in the last round. But it'll be interesting if he does go free. I believe that opens it up to open free agency then, that you can go out and allocate to whichever team. I'll have to double check on that. But that would be an interesting way if he does not get selected to which team would take a chance on him. But I really think he's going to come off the board here before the last round.
We're also asked by Van Heaton 64, will the games be on the same day each week? And if so, on what days? They are expected to be on Saturdays and Sundays.
2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday.
But they
Saturday
are
and Sunday.
currently subject to change. So depending on a possible difference in a TV deal, that could change by come February. We are waiting on the last and final pick, correct? The Fleet?
Yep.
Round 3.
In the 3rd round.
Again, Mettenberger thought he'd be gone by now.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm still waiting for my guy Tommy Armstrong Jr. gets selected.
I forgot he was out there too. That's a big name too.
Yeah, that's number 2. Number 2 on our big board is still out there. Quite a few of these guys are still out there, so it's gonna be interesting to see. But
this guy was just
selected, pretty pissed off.
Ferguson.
This guy just selected by San Diego, Philip Nelson, is probably the biggest gunslinger in the entire class. He's not very tall. He only stands around 6'1", 6'2". But at East Carolina, he was borderline confident, cocky, and he would fit the ball into tight windows. He could climb the pocket, and he knows how to get it out quickly. He'll stand in the face of pressure and get waylaid, and he'll still deliver. He shows great balance in his footwork and his drops. He throws with a nice high 3/4 release, and he can get some impressive RPMs out. So, but this also fits in with the Mike Martz offense. He does like running the spread scheme. So
So really quick here, Roy, if they were allocated to a team, did that team have them in-house able to like run medical or run them through drills or anything?
I believe that they were just the same as any other player that was signed to the roster. They were brought in for a physical. They were even, I guess, I believe that they were allowed to be taking coaching from their staffs. So that's why they gave you the chance to protect. If you were comfortable with them in your building, they would have gave you a built-in advantage. So it's interesting.
Do you think maybe with Armstrong there may be some undisclosed injury or something like that?
It's a possibility. I can't rule out anything, Rob.
Yeah, so looking in the fourth round with the players still on the board, I would look at Tyler Ferguson.
Yeah, Adam Wainwright just brought that up and said something
Mettenberger and
Garcia.
Thank you. Those are the four names that I'm looking at in this last round.
Since you just brought up those names in the chat, Adam Wainwright has been asking about Tyler Ferguson actually, and said that they heard Orlando was very interested in Tyler Ferguson. What info do you have on Ferguson you can give us, guys?
Tyler Ferguson, he transferred multiple times in college. He wound up going from Penn State to Western Kentucky. He has good size. He's a pocket passer. He has good arm strength. He can push the ball down the field. He lacks a true feel for key ball placement in key times, and he struggles to keep his feet under control whenever he's pressured. He was never really given a real fair shake at a starting position, but if he can get his footwork in tow, I think he could be an interesting case, especially here in the fourth round.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he has the potential to build into something more than what he was given as the opportunities in college. He was never given that starting job. He had to work for a lot of it. So if he's giving a chance to develop, he could really develop into something special.
And Feiner, Chris Price asked about Steve Garcia. You got anything special on him to let us know?
Yeah. Oh, Steve Garcia, he's just been a blue chip recruit. He has a cannon for an arm. He has big time, big play ability in big moments of games. He can move around the pocket. He can run the ball in running situations if the play depends on it. I would love to see him.
Mm-hmm. You think? I think he blew. I mean, like Spurrier's was his ex-coach, and he's on the Apollos, and they haven't taken a chance on him. If he's not going to do it, there's a reason he's not there.
Yeah, he just has the skill set to be able to succeed the AAF. It's a fun story. It would be a real comeback story.
I feel like there has to be something behind the scenes with Zach Mettenberger as well. Maybe he just didn't interview well, or what it was.
He
didn't take being benched well, and he really wanted.
Didn't he have knee issues?
He did. He did blow out his knee in the last year of college at LSU. But I could see with Mettenberger it being the lack of foot quickness, especially with a lot of these offenses. They're looking for rolling the pocket out on the move RPO type. He does excel inside the pocket. What he does well, he does pretty good, but the type of imaginative offenses these guys might be trying to put into effect might be hurting him a lot.
I think Jack had a solid point there as well, though. If he had that attitude about being a second guy, this is all new. Like Jack has said, it's trial. You can't guarantee that guy that spot, and do you want that headache on your team?
Very true. Could be. I mean, he had some off the field issues even in college. So
yeah. I mean, if given the chance, if he's selected in this fourth round, I do believe that in the preseason he's definitely going to fight for a starting role.
Do you guys know what the preseason structure, the preseason format looks like?
I do not know, Jack, but right now they're doing an over-under wins total for all the sites, or for all the teams. Right now, an over-under for the leader for over-and-under winners is Orlando Apollos with a 6.5. San Diego Fleet second with 5.5. Arizona Hot Shots are 5.5 over/under win total. Commanders are a 5. Express are a 5, and then the final three teams, the Stallions are 4.5, and then the last two, the Legends and the Birmingham Iron, both have a 4 over and under win total.
It is impressive how quickly they get that out now.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how accurate that is. I think. The second these teams hit the field, everything might change.
Yeah, I think another thing working against Garcia is his age. He's 30 years old, and he hasn't had that real opportunity yet.
So, Jack, you've had a chance. You've got a local team there. Who's your favorite draft pick for the Stallions thus far?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm just going to say Austin Allen. I think just because I've actually seen film, I've seen him throw. I'm excited to see what he can do. But really, if you go through the list, I mean, Josh Woodrow is going to be our Woodrum. There's too many to go through right now. Like I said, the fact that I've seen Austin Allen throw, and I wasn't extremely impressed, but it's the fact that I have studied him. He's probably the one that's the most on my radar.
Right now, we just had a pick come in. The first pick of the 4th round by the Commanders was by Dalton Sturm from University of Texas, San Antonio. He was an underrated type guy. I did like him. He's only 23 years of age. He's on the shorter side at 6'1". He's very deliberate with his delivery. He has great accuracy to all levels of the field. He can throw with great anticipation and touch, and he gives his players a chance for yards after the catch. He has the arm strength and the RPMs to drive footballs into tight windows. And even though as short as he is, he does have a strong build that can withstand some punishment on the RPOs. And he also does have the concept down of climbing the pocket when he is under pressure. And he doesn't panic. So he's a nice lottery pick here late in the draft for the Commanders. I actually like him a lot better than their 3rd round pick, Logan Woodside.
Feiner, let me ask you. You're down in Florida. How about the Apollos? Your favorite draft pick tonight from them?
I like the pick of Applebot. I don't know if he's going to be their starter, but I do believe he will be able to come in and compete, make all their team better around him. He's just an intriguing prospect.
Who this evening is guaranteed a starting job, do you think, if anybody?
Aaron Murray.
Josh Johnson.
Yeah, I would say for sure Josh Johnson.
Aaron Murray.
I don't think you can go wrong with either of those picks. Those are 2 guaranteed. Now, I have a question for you, Roy. Do you know anything about potential trades? Are those going to be allowed?
I do not. I was trying to look it up. I was looking to see if even these draft picks were tradable. I could not get a straight answer. I'm not sure how it's working in the first year. I believe they're probably going to parlay that into a second year if they can to see if they're going to make it or not. But I believe after the draft, though, that any quarterback that wasn't selected, I believe, are going to be basically unrestricted free agents. They're not going to be allotted to anybody. So it might be an interesting time right after these 4 rounds to see some of these guys that are top on our list, see where they might sign on with a club.
So Cody wants to know real quick, who do you think would be the fantasy football MVP of the AAF year 1?
Oh, it's probably going to be one of the running backs.
Zach Stacy's my early favorite. Yeah, and then,
Same.
Of course, Roy here.
Zach Stacy. Yeah.
I like Bishop Sankey in that offense as well.
Yeah, I was just going to do that. With Mike Martz in that offense, I do believe Bishop Sankey's going to get a lot of playing time.
And my friends, we have Zach Mettenberger off the board.
Thank you.
To the Memphis Express, which is a very good landing spot for him
I love that.
In that kind of offense with David Leas as offensive coordinator and Singletary. Definite good fit. He had to wait a little longer when he wanted. He's actually close to home from where his big NFL experience came from in Tennessee. So definite interesting pick there. That might have just rocked the boat their way for the Express. They had a good draft with Mettenberger, Brandon Silvers, Christian Hackenberg as well. And we also have them with Troy Cook, who is the surprise protect pick they had. But 2 wild cards in that quarterback room with Mettenberger and Hackenberg at Express.
Yeah. With Lee as their OC after being promoted from their quarterback coach, I really think Mettenberger is going to come in and compete. If he's given the opportunity, if his knee checks out, if his health checks out, Zach Mettenberger might be Memphis' starter come week 1.
I totally agree with you, Jason. That could be their week 1 starter with the NFL experience, especially with some of the other guys. You could let Hackenberg sit behind him and learn because they're both big-statured quarterback, although Hackenberg is hands down the better athlete. But It might be a similar type of, rebuilding your character and your playing profile.
Yeah, I could see this. I think Memphis is definitely the most pro-style offense, most pro-style defense. They're going to be the easiest to transition back into the NFL, or that team and those prospects, I think, will have the easiest road back into the NFL. They might not be the most talented, but those are definitely going to be pro-style offense and a pro-style defense led by Singletary.
I'd say
And he's
Birmingham,
still
too.
You get
Mettenberger's still only 27 years old.
Right.
And that team with that defense, Dennis Thurman is an excellent defensive coordinator with NFL experience. I believe they might have the best defense best defensive philosophy going into it. So we'll see an aggressive defense. I'll have to check out some of the defensive playmakers that are on their roster, but
they got some talented playmakers on offense too, with Zach Stacy in the backfield, and then you got Chris Givens, who's an explosive speed downfield threat. You got Chris Briggs, big-bodied receiver who can go up and get a ball. There's a lot of talent in this offense.
Yep, and if a Mike Singletary led team is going to have a defense no matter what. He might have not have been the best head coach in the NFL, but I think it might be a little different here.
Over under Singletary being the first coach to have a meltdown.
One game. One game. Can't play with him.
Can't play with him.
That might be after Hackenberg throws like 4 interceptions.
Oh man, keep him on the sideline until he's ready.
That's right.
All right, I have a random question to throw out there. What current college prospects do you see being the first to go straight to the AAF that might not be pro ready?
I'll give you one right now. It just came into mind, and he plays at Washington State, Gardner Minshew.
Really?
Yep, I could see him. If he doesn't make an NFL roster as a draft pick, I could definitely see him coming into this type of offense.
I could see somebody like Jalen Hurts. He'll probably get a year's worth of chance in the NFL and then probably have success in something like the AAF. Anybody else? Jason?
If Mackenzie Milton is able to recover from his whole disaster of an injury, maybe him, just to get himself back moving around and playing football again, because the NFL is not going to take that shot on him. So maybe him, but there's so much nerve risk at that. But that was the first one that came to my mind. Just someone who needs to redeem themselves, and absolutely probably won't be able to do it in the NFL.
I think a lot of college quarterbacks are going to go. They're going to try the NFL, not make a roster, and either go practice squad or straight to the AAF for the simple fact that they have a chance to get right back in the league because of the way that contract is structured.
Could see that.
It's going to be a lot less football players sitting on the couch. You're making 75, between $75,000 and $100,000 a year is not it's not amazing money, but it's good money to be playing a game. It is damn good money to be playing a game. So
could anybody see maybe eventually the league getting prospects before college? I know that sounds stupid, but you see that trending in the NBA and obviously in baseball, high schoolers coming pro. Could you see that something like that happening here?
That's a very interesting topic right there, especially with the Maurice Claret situation. It tried to challenge the 3 years out of high school. That you could maybe see somebody trying it. I don't know per se if it will work, especially as a quarterback, but I could see a skill position player maybe trying it. We did have the Stallions just make a selection in the 3rd pick in the 4th round. Matt Linehan, he was from Idaho. He had a cup of coffee with the Vikings and the Bengals in a mini camp, but he's not the greatest quarterback. I had him wrote up as a fringe line draftable player. He did play in the spread system. And he does have decent arm strength, but his accuracy just leaves him from time to time, and he's a little bit on the slender side.
I'm going to be a homer here, and I'm going to shout out Bubba Jenkins. He better be on a roster coming up real soon. AAF, listen up, Bubba Jenkins.
Damn right.
That tryout from Memphis, right?
I do believe that's correct. So If you guys listen and haven't looked up Bubba Jenkins, you've got to check that kid out. He is an athletic freak. You can, I believe his Twitter's at Bubba Jenkins. I'm going to check that out, and I'll get that for sure here in just a couple minutes.
Cody Talks NFL, throw a link of his game film in there for us if you wouldn't mind, so these guys can check him out. He is extremely talented, had a rough run in college, and has basically anywhere he's gone, he's taken a small school and turned them into a champion. Anywhere he's gone, and they've put the team on his back.
Google his numbers at Morningside. They are freaking insane. And again, his Twitter handle is actually at Bubba Jank, BUBBAJENK NFL. Give him a follow. Kid's a beast.
So we just had another selection by the Atlanta Legends in the 4th pick in the 4th round. We had Justin Holman from UCF. He was unallocated coming into the process. He was actually one of Russ Lande's guys. He was signed by the Montreal Alouettes. Good size. He's 6'4", 205, solidly built. He'll be 24 at the time of when the league starts. He'll stand in the face of pressure and deliver a pass. He shows good pre-snap ability and adjusting blocking assignments to cover for blitzers. Like I said, he has good arm strength, but he only was in a one-read system, and he got stuck on that one read. He could not go through progressions. So he did mostly run from the shotgun, but he does have a little bit of experience running out from under center. So he might have a little bit of adjustment time, but he does have a nice build at 6'4", 205.
There it is. Appreciate that, Cody Talks NFL, for doing that for us. Check out the YouTube link he just threw in there if you want to see a beast of a running back. Someone, when we went to the NFL Combine, a lot of NFL GMs knew about, but he just for some reason he was not getting the recognition he deserves. But they all knew the name Bubba Jenkins, and you will see him in the AAF and or the NFL in the near-distant future.
Let's see him catching some passes from Mettenberger or Hackenberg, Memphis.
Let's do it.
Fantasy
you hear this,
MVP,
Memphis?
Fantasy MVP for Memphis.
Oh, he'll be on my team. I've seen
Yeah,
how
right.
he runs.
Zach Stacy's gonna Zach. It's gonna be another one of those. It's gonna be another one of those Zach Stacy girly relationships.
If you try to take Bubba Jenkins in the fantasy draft, Cody will hunt you down.
Cody the Colt will hunt you down.
Dude, he's going to get you.
Taking him number 1 overall, regardless.
I really would consider it.
Hey, the
Just
film
to get
doesn't
on.
lie, but you never know how these running backs are going to do, especially against this talent.
Big problem. The big thing with his film was he's extremely strong with good vision, good hands in the passing game. Just his speed. He doesn't have that breakaway speed that can truly outrun defenders from behind.
Did not drop a pass. Did not drop a pass at his pro day.
He's an electric athlete with excellent pass protection, great hands to catch the ball out of the backfield. He's going to make a team happy.
He reminds me of a Kareem Hunt. You know, the way he runs with balance.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Kareem Hunt, ran what, a 4.5, 4.6 at the
absolutely.
Combine, and still has speed, enough speed to be able to break away.
Definitely.
And he's not some burner.
Yeah.
He's not some perfect route runner, but he can catch the ball. He can run.
Right. Absolutely. Bubba can break the corner as well. He can beat you to the corner.
So the Apollos just made their last selection with the 5th pick in the 4th round. They selected one of their own that was allocated to them. They reselected him, Kevin Anderson from Fordham. He's 6'2", 215. He's an energetic spread quarterback with good, clean footwork. And when he's under pressure, he keeps his eyes down the field. He's at his best when throwing in rhythm and short to intermediate routes, and he can put the ball on his receiver for a chance with run after the catch. His arm strength is good to great. He's not elite, but he throws with enough RPMs to fit in tight windows. He's a gritty runner after the play breaks down, and he can even be an interesting case in an RPO-based offense.
It's Roy Countryman, everyone. One of the most knowledgeable scouts we've got, if not the. I mean, damn, man. Just to be able to break down all these players like this is amazing. You are full of scouting knowledge, and we love having you on the team. Can't thank you enough, brother.
I just want to remind everybody that we do fantasy football, so we have these guys behind that as well. So, it's not just guessing with Blitzalytics. These guys are involved in everything.
Check out our fantasy rankings that will be coming out tomorrow. We also have NFL Power Rankings coming out. The Fantasy Podcast, Fantasy Hot Seat, which I filled in for. I don't know if I lived up to Rob's standard, but I tried.
You'd beat the standard I'd have gave this morning.
Hey, the standard is the standard, Jack. You got it.
All right, let's scroll down.
No bye weeks, is that right? It's just a solid schedule.
No bye weeks. Yep, no bye weeks. I'm not sure if they take a bye week before the playoffs or not, but there's no bye weeks in the 10-week season.
All right. Now, do you guys, this is just an opinion-based question. Do you think that there's enough room for everyone, including obviously the CFL and the NFL, they're going to survive. They've been around. They're going to be around. But between the AAF, the Spring League, and the XFL, is there enough mouths to feed? Is there enough people that are interested in football when it's not the NFL season to be able for all three of these spring leagues to thrive?
As the least informed person, let me answer first. I don't think that there will. I think you're going to see these guys fight it out, and the best is going to survive. It's going to be survival of the fittest, and I think this league here has the best chance. We've discussed it already. All the talent that's behind the scenes is going to get the best talent out on the field. That's my opinion.
I agree. I don't believe that there's enough talent to go around. It's not saying you can't fill a roster with some of them players in different leagues, but the quality of play is going to go vastly down once you go through, even stealing crops of players from the CFL as the AAF is going to do. And I believe even the XFL is going to be a step lower in the AAF just due to their seasoned group of coaches and front office personnel that are in with it, and the building clause giving you an out to the NFL if you have an opportunity. I just believe that the AAF is going to be the next standard, and then the rest are going to be their minor leagues, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that the AAF's connection with the NFL is going to be the biggest attractive piece for these players coming out. Like, their ultimate goal is to make it to the NFL, so obviously they're going to go with the NFL byproduct, whereas the XFL, as I said earlier, is probably going to be a different type of product. It's probably going to be more of a spectacle, more of a show, more of an entertainment
than football. Yeah,
right, and it'll have its own segment of demographics, but at the end of the day, the people who are trying to watch football are probably going to be more attracted to the AAF, and then with that, the most of the audience is probably going to go that way, and the XFL is probably going to not do too well eventually.
Just to cut in before you get your request in there, Jason, I'll let you go. We had two picks here. The sixth pick, where the hot shots, was Jack Hennigan, quarterback from Dartmouth with good size. He throws a very catchable ball. It throws it very accurate down the field, 35 yards down the field plus. Inconsistent footwork. He throws off his back foot too many times, but he shows an ability to go through progressions and scan the field. He just needs some time to, sink into an NFL-style offense. Then with the second to last pick in this round, we had Alex Torkelson, Ashton's guy he asked about earlier. The Norwegian Nightmare was selected by the Birmingham Iron, who throws well on the run. As you've seen, like they took Blake Sims earlier. They're looking for that move-style offense. Yep. He's still only 23 years of age. He gets the ball out quickly with good RPMs, but he'll need to learn to go throughout progressions and how to auto.
Just a little ball player.
But he is confident, so I would not discount him. Sorry, Jason. Go ahead in your take.
All right. Somebody that crossed my mind. I wouldn't count out Trace McSorley coming to the AAF. He might get the opportunity in the NFL first, but I think that he could lead a team in the AAF one of these years.
That's a great answer to that question. I didn't even think about him when Jack answered that. That's a great answer. He's probably be up there for number one type quarterback that would come to this league, maybe benefit from it.
He's a little short with a solid arm, very athletic, can run an offense.
If we're circling back to that question, I like Logan Thomas.
No, it just crossed my mind. I just wanted to just mention it.
Logan Thomas, he's a tight end for the Bills right now. I think he kind of got I think if some of these guys are getting a chance to play quarterback again, I think he is probably going to be enticed by that because he's not getting any play at tight end. I think he could try that again. Kenny Hill, I don't know what he's up to these days, but, I mean, he's been a ball player that I could see trying to go at it again.
One name, Nathan Peterman, folks.
There it is. Kelly Bryant. I don't know if he's going to try to do it again.
Kelly Bryant will get a chance in the NFL. He's a prototypical passer. He's going to need more film tape, but I think he'll get a chance in the NFL.
Okay, so we've had our final selection in the inaugural Protect or Pick draft for the Alliance of American Football by the San Diego Fleet. It was selected Alex Ross from Coastal Carolina, who I was not very high on whatsoever. He's 26 years of age. He's a small, athletic, spread-style quarterback who doesn't show a lot of necessary traits to be a pocket passer. He bounced around the CFL a little bit. He throws from a low three-quarters, almost sidearm delivery. He doesn't have great depth or knowledge how to get drops from under center, and his accuracy is very inconsistent. It wanes from time to time. But he's somehow got drafted over the likes of Tommy Armstrong Jr. It'll be interesting to see where some of these guys get signed, if it is open free agency on, undrafted free agents here, or if they go back to their allotted teams. I'm not sure. I'll try to get you guys an answer in the coming days to see what the answer is for these quarterbacks that weren't selected, where they're going from here. But to just wrap it up, the Fleet took Alex Ross from Coastal Carolina with the final selection.
Two quick questions for you then. With all of it wrapped up, was Mettenberger the best fourth-round pick, and who won the draft overall, in your guys' opinions?
Mettenberger was
Memphis. I'd say Memphis just because of Mettenberger and Hackenberg.
Yeah, I'm tied between San Antonio, the Express and the Apollos, because I'm very high on Austin Appleby as well as Stephen Morris, that they took back-to-back in the second and third rounds.
Third. So, Appleby won third.
And even Kevin Anderson's an interesting guy. I'm just really not sure. Well, they took Garrett Gilbert as well in round one, so they got a good crop of three at least to work with that have a good arm and have some athleticism. So I'd say it's either between the Express or the Apollos.
I think I'm going to go with the Express.
I'm going to be a homer, man. The Express is my team. I think they won too.
I think the Express has the most upside.
Yeah, I don't know if they have the biggest talent right off the bat, but definitely the most upside. Mettenberger is going to come in. I believe he's going to get the starting job, but Hackenberg is the dark horse in this draft. If he can perform, his physical talent is above everybody else's.
Like you guys have said a couple times through here, you see Memphis Express, Jack had pointed it out earlier, running a more pro-style offense. Do you see that leading then to initial success for them before everyone else who's trying to figure it out a little more?
I could actually see that being a hindrance just because a lot of these guys play in the spread style system. It might be more apt for quicker success because of an adjustment period, whereas a lot of these guys have to learn how to take their, good depth on drop from under center. Some of these guys maybe have never taken snaps under center except for, maybe goal line or victory situations. So I actually think it could be a deterrent for the pro style offense.
It just depends on what they ask their quarterbacks and their wide receivers to do. I think in the run game, having a simplistic run game to start off with might help, especially somebody like Zach Stacy who's already played that. Mettenberger's played under center. Hackenberg's played under center. So it could go either way, but from an entire whole standpoint from the league, asking your team to do too much too soon will definitely set you back a few games to start this. But then we don't know because, just like how we see in the Senior Bowl and the Pro Bowl, they could really start off with very simplistic offenses and then just have some gadget plays or some, 1 and 2 read type of college-style routes that are easy on the quarterback, at least to get going.
Yeah, and like I was saying before, I do think it's going to be a hindrance for some of the players in the system for Memphis. Like I said with Hackenberg, this was the best landing spot for him if they're trying to develop him. I don't believe that he's going to come in and play very much in a pro-style system like Memphis might be running just because he's not ready, his footwork's not there, his ability is not there.
So I did just see on the telecast that's online, I did get an answer. I didn't get the exact date, but the roster size will be 52 players.
Wow.
And is there going to be a practice squad as well? Do you know?
It did not say anything. It just said cut down. It gave dates. I didn't get the date, but it did say cut down the 52 players from the preseason roster. And then it gave down like the regular season dates when they started to, on through the championship games. But it did say that there was a cut down to 52 players.
Yeah, and I want to bring up this. This is in the chat. Tyrod Taylor. I definitely do not think he's going to end up in the AAF. He's too talented, too much of a dual threat to end up in the AAF. He's going to be a backup, if not a starter, in the NFL after this year.
Yeah, definitely too good of a talent to be at the AAF.
I think he's too underrated in the NFL.
There's no financial reason to. If they had a system where they could pay him the starting NFL quarterback money, he'd come. But that's not the issue here. So.
Right.
Although, how long do you think before we start seeing the difference in player contracts and them trying to maybe go in and vulture a guy like a Tyrod Taylor that way?
I don't see it happening just because of the way this league's already trying to take itself out of competition with the NFL. Right. I think they're more apt to try to work it where it's a profitable business until they could get funding from the NFL or allotment of players from the NFL. I think their end game, if you've seen their big picture, I think would be the minor league for the NFL, to where we were talking earlier, where maybe you expand to 16 teams. Each team gets 2 teams allotments of players during the off season that you could find out, and you're going to have a good knowledge base even when it comes draft time, even before training camp time comes around.
Yeah, and then again, you could see I see the NFL going by way of the NBA a lot more lately, and the G League, for instance, has worked out really well for the NBA. They're approaching full league status at this point, and it's only been 4 or 5 years, so that could easily happen with this too, right?
Very well, and I know we were discussing amongst each other here the other day in the chat about even contracts, the way the NBA does with being able to like exempt a contractor, however the language is, by getting rid of a contract so that you could take on more, or trading a contract away like that. Some of the other guys could understand that understand the CBA a little bit better in the NBA than I do. But it might be an interesting tactic if this league succeeds with the brain trust they have. You might see a little bit, like you're saying, Rob, the NBA type style of contracts in the NFL with the NBA mindset, as well as the D League, like you said, with the success it's had.
Especially with it coming out how corrupt the NCAA is, you could definitely tell the NBA wants to get away from that and get away from them abusing these college players. Not so much in the NFL or in college football. I mean, still we know it happens. So this could be a huge alternative to college football one day as well.
Very much so.
All right, guys. Do we have any final thoughts before we wrap this on up? I want to say thank you to everybody that's come in and tuned in to watch the AAF live commentary from Blitzalytics.com. And I want to thank you guys for coming on and giving some stellar commentary and dropping as much knowledge, as many knowledge bombs as possible, because without you guys, we wouldn't be here.
It was a great time.
I end every time I'm on a show with Go Rams, being that this is the AF. I guess I'm going to go Express now. So that's how I'm going to end this one.
Hey, I'm going to end with this, guys, with all these guys trying to get a second break. Stay humble and be a blessing.
Absolutely.
Couldn't agree more.
Make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. That's Blitzalytics.com. Our website has all football knowledge. Thanks for coming out.
Stay tuned for more. Follow me at Jack Bourgeois, JackBooshwa. Let's get everybody's Twitter handles in, and we'll get on out of here.
Follow me at Feiner Scores.
At Preacher Boy Roy. Join the Alliance.
At Ashhold 1056.
At Rob Graphics.
All right. And if anybody's interested, please check out our homepage. Check out our services page, all that stuff. We do all kinds of work, and Blitzalytics got started in a simple form that we needed a place to drop our knowledge, to build our sports portfolio. So we've grown so much more from that, and we're a content production company. But at our core, we are a sports portfolio website designed for scouts, analysts, writers, people that want to be in media, people that want to be data analytics researchers for the NFL, to be able to get out their content, get out their knowledge, and provide a platform for them to procure employment in the football industry. As this football industry grows from the AAF to the XFL to the NFL, this is a massively growing industry. It's already one of the biggest industries in the United States. So if you are interested in turning that into your dream, if that is your dream job, hit us up. Send us some content. Let us know that you know what you're talking about as well. And if you're a scout, we are definitely looking to add as many scouts to our team as possible. So send us a scouting report. Find us on Twitter. Find us on any platform, or check out our website. Look up our content info, or contact info, I should say. That's all I got. Y'all good?
Awesome.
Let's do it.
Blitz.
Thanks for coming out.
Out.